we are the only listed crypto company in Australia. So that whole transaction that proof of concept has been verified. It's now proven. That means that institutions can plug in their private banking blockchain and connect it to public chains.
Eeva Guoga is a bold force at the edge of finance in Web3. As non-executive director of DigitalX, she's leading the charge to bring institutional finance into the blockchain era. More than a marketing executive, she's an educator and creator with a sharp mind and a fearless voice. In a space still dominated by men and buzzwords, Yeva dares to lead with purpose and rewrite the rules.
Why would companies choose Solana as the blockchain to tokenize the company's equity instead of Ethereum, Avalanche, or let's say Bitcoin layer 2?
Why would you not use it?
Welcome to Crypto G's. Today we have Ieva Guoga. How are you today, Ieva?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for coming to Crypto G's.
Very excited to be here, Andres.
And I'm actually more excited than you because obviously you guys are building something amazing. One of my favorite assets in the digital asset space, Solana. So, but before we get into all of this, you just joined the board of DigitalX. For those unfamiliar, what is DigitalX and why should people be paying attention to it right now?
Yeah, so DigitalX is a very unique company. We provide APAC investors with exposure to digital assets.
Okay, wow.
So that's actually, we are like the fourth or fifth largest holder of SOL in terms of publicly listed treasury companies. And all of that SOL is staked. We've got a partnership with Sol Strategies. We're staking that SOL via BitGo. And so we're generating revenue every single day, like we're earning more SOL, and all of that SOL is compounding and being put back and restaked. So our treasury is one part of the business. Then we also have a profitable sell my shares component where we help regular people, you know, if they have been provided with some shares from a deceased estate or they've somehow come around into some ownership, we help them offload those shares. And so that's the current business. But then obviously we have, you know, Lee and I, we've just joined the board yesterday.
Yes.
Lee,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Lee used to be from ex-Binance, right?
Yes. So he was the ex-CEO of Binance. Australia.
That's fascinating, yeah.
And he is currently also a director of capital markets at Animoca Brands.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're very excited to have him on board. Already so many ideas and so many ambitions. So I think really exciting things coming there out of DigitalX.
You know, when I met you, Yeva, last year, I remember I was sharing what Sol Strategy was doing with my non-crypto friends, you know, people that are in stock bonds.
Yeah.
And they were fascinated about it. I didn't tell you this before.
Yeah.
And then seeing how fast you are growing is congratulations. So going back, DigitalX holds BTC and Solana. And as you say, provides APAC investor exposure to digital assets. But what the long-term vision here, and how do you see your role shaping that?
Yeah, so we are the only listed crypto company in Australia. There's like ETFs and everything, but we're the only one who's been upheld, you know, in compliance and reporting to maintain that listing. So we want to obviously be the biggest and the best, I'm sure, just like any other company. I think my role is going to be very focused on education. In terms of crypto adoption, I do believe that Australia is a bit behind. People don't understand it and they don't like what they don't understand. So that's going to be a big piece of my role. Some marketing efforts and like strategy. So whilst I can't say exactly what we're going to do, we have, very, very big goals and we hope to achieve all of them.
Obviously, you're going to probably get a big announcement coming soon, but let's go back a little bit. How did you get involved on DigitalX? Yeah,
so being an Australian, I've actually been a long-term investor, held the shares for quite some while. And then there was a partnership between Sol Strategies and DigitalX, and I was helping to facilitate like the communications. You know, maybe there was some like as being Australian, it was very easy for me to communicate with the whole team. And we really got along. So I guess I educated them a lot about Solana in general, and how it's not just, digital gold, it's actual energy that provides a yield to stakers. So we had just had a few conversations with the CEO and the director. My dad was also an investor there.
Okay.
And that sort of progressed and grew into a director position, to sort of refresh and turn the company into a really innovative and powerful crypto listed company.
Because there are not many. Well, there's only one in Australia.
Yeah.
Now, institutions are entering crypto quietly, but we have BlackRock and all the other companies in the US entering quietly, but making noise in the crypto community. But what signs are you seeing today that suggest the next cycle, like bullish cycle, will be more mature and infrastructure driven than 2021?
Yeah, of course. I definitely believe that all the hype is, dying down. Yes. And there's real institutional plumbing that's getting constructed right now. So I think one sign was when Robinhood, a huge exchange, acquired WonderFi, which has, BitBuy and CoinShare, which is Canada's largest crypto exchange. That obviously signals to the market that Robinhood is adopting crypto trading. You don't want to be left behind. They also purchased WonderFi for a 41% premium. So that just goes to show how much they're willing to pay to be part of the crypto landscape and not get left behind. I think, other huge developments, whether that's BlackRock or, JP Morgan with Connexi, their, private blockchain, and how they have managed to do a DVP with, Connexi and connected with Chainlink, and then they bought treasury funds from Ondo. So that whole transaction that proof of concept has been verified. It's now proven. That means that institutions can plug in their private banking blockchain and connect it to public chains easily. And it works. So I think, these signals that genuine infrastructure is getting built, it's getting tested, and it's getting approved. It's going to be, scaled, and the world is just going to grow that way.
This amazing piece of information and capsule for reals. I just see it. All this information that you say in 2 minutes is something that people need to hear.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very interested because I don't know much about this. This is the first time I came across about equity tokenization.
Yeah.
So equity tokenization is gaining a lot of momentum, a lot of exposure, but there is still confusion around what it actually means. How would you explain to someone outside of crypto what is equity tokenization?
Yeah. So I guess going back, what is equity? What is a stock? A stock signifies your ownership of an asset. So, we're trading stocks all the time, but that doesn't really, a stock is really kind of nothing. So how else can we represent that ownership? We can also represent that with a token or a tokenized stock. So this is just a different way of trading stocks. We're trading them on the blockchain. It's the same thing. We're trading ownership. We're trading ownership of the underlying asset.
Okay, that's a pretty easy explanation. Thank you so much. And what do you see as the biggest challenge holding back equity tokenization from mass adoption today? Yeah,
so I guess there's compliance and regulatory barriers. I think that, there's always going to be growing pains whenever something new and revolutionary comes, that it's genuinely going to transform capital markets. So we need to make sure that it's all tested and everyone's compliant. I think, KYC requirements by the SEC, that's still obviously something that's pending. So how can, the mass retail market, in underbanked or unbanked countries like Africa, how can they pass those KYC due diligence requirements? And I guess there will be some integration with some software. then there's also market manipulation that has to be considered, and how they're going to overcome that. So how they're going to link everyone, how they're going to automatically, put in blackouts for insiders, or sort of have indications about when someone is doing something wrong. Like rug pulls and all those meme coin sort of trading strategies are no longer going to be a thing, because you're going to be directly linked to your own wallet.
To your own wallet. And now, do you believe tokenized stocks could become the default way companies go public in the future? And what are the benefits of a stock tokenization?
Yeah. Okay. So the benefits of stock tokenization, firstly, there's so many. Firstly, there's enhanced liquidity through increased market participation. Someone who's in Africa can now buy just a fraction of Tesla. So Tesla's trading circa $350 USD a stock. Not everyone can afford that.
Yeah.
But now they can buy like 1% of that stock. They can buy 0.35 cents of Tesla, and then you can still own it and have that ownership. There's faster settlements and lower transaction costs. Especially on a blockchain like Solana. There would be 24/7 trading. So
very important.
Yeah, always access to the markets. I think also a very interesting concept is like DeFi yield. So you could take out a loan against your stock. And that has traditionally been reserved to institutional investors, and takes a lot of KYC. But now, if everything's on chain and everything's transparent, and you know what your holdings are, you could potentially take out a loan of stablecoin against your Tesla stock and have a margin call when that is necessary. But I think those are just some of the benefits of stock tokenization.
Because I've been so long in crypto, I got so used to that you can buy fractions of any tokens, but I didn't know that you cannot buy fraction of stocks. You have to buy the one stock of Tesla.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a game changer for retail and people that want to buy. They say they don't want to buy one stock of Tesla, even though they want to buy 100 different stocks, so they can diversify their portfolio and minimize the risk. This is very good. Now let's talk about talking about Solana and different chains, but from a board level perspective, why would companies choose Solana as the blockchain to tokenize the company's equity instead of Ethereum, Avalanche, or let's say Bitcoin layer 2?
Yeah. Well, Sol is, the fastest chain right now. Let's say compared to Ethereum, Sol is about 2,000 transactions per second. Ethereum's maybe like 200. It's also the cheapest. Ethereum fees can go up to like even, $100 USD in peak. And Sol fees are like 0.1 cents, like very negligible, 0.01 cents, very negligible fees. Now with the Firedancer validated client update 2 on Sol, the blockchain has become more scalable, more like now faster. So now it's in testnet. But with Firedancer, with every validator completely upgraded to Firedancer, it will be 1.2 transactions per second that Solana can handle. Fees will go down and it will be safer. So like, it's kind of like why would you not use Solana?
When is this update?
Well, it's already a lot of validators are on testnet, and we're hoping probably 2025 this year to be converted.
Amazing. I want to ask something about Solana. You have all this information in your head. It's not on the script, but I will ask you, let's talk about Solana, how many transactions can hold. That before people were using it for meme, but now this is something serious. They're working really hard. Solana Foundation, Lily. Let's talk a little bit of Solana to make the people understand that you know a lot about Solana. Okay. So I will ask random questions regarding the chain. Okay, Yeva, let's talk now about Solana from numbers point of view. So obviously, guys, you choose Solana, and for me, it's one of my favorite digital assets, as I said before. But let's talk about numbers right now. Because people in the past used to think Solana was only for memes, but obviously Solana was created with the intention to create a digital economy very stable, very robust, and scalable.
Yes.
Before the update that you just mentioned, how is Solana so good right now? Because people misunderstand. They say when Solana, there's too many transactions, the network gets stuck. Mm-hmm. That happened in the past. Do you think that's going to happen again? Like when there's so many transactions, like last year everybody was using Solana, it was taking forever to process any transaction. Do you think it's ever going to happen again or no, in terms of numbers?
Yeah, look, so there's obviously always growing pains when the demand is like crazy. Like let's say when Trump launched his meme coin, everyone was, working super hard to, continue with that uptime and the latency that Solana provides. There's always going to be growing pains. When there's a new technology, we always have to overcome hurdles in order to reap those benefits and rewards. So, I mean, that's a big reason why Firedance was also introduced. It was for high frequency trading. That's the whole thing. It's like a plugin into Solana that enables the blockchain to function with like the highest number of transactions per second. Okay.
And now let's talk about validators. No validators, especially in Solana. Because when I met you, I remember you say, hey, look, we have validators, etc. But people still don't understand. I don't understand because I work with validators. We're actually building now a network of validators for prediction market with one of the companies I'm an advisor. But let's talk about Solana because very fascinating. Maybe give some insights to the community. What is a Solana validator? Mm-hmm. Also, how much was the price when they start, many years ago? How much is one validator and what is their task? Like what is it for?
Yeah. Oh, how much was it?
How much when it started, Did you have any reference how much it was?
Like the cost of
the cost, yeah.
Oh, how much to start up?
Yes,
yeah. Right, okay. Yeah, so a validator is a node that essentially verifies and approves transactions on the blockchain. So validators get rewarded by adding new blocks to the chain. And in those blocks, it's like long lists of approved transactions. So to start up your own like validator, the costs are kind of ongoing, right? You have to rent space in a data center. You have to have an engineer. You have to have a backup node, especially if you want to run a high quality, optimize latency, optimize uptime, optimize efficiency. And you can change things in the code to get MEV rewards. So around about, let's say, $10K a month to run a validator. But there's also, break-even considerations. Mm. So you kind of have to have around 150,000 souls staked on your validator.
Wow.
And you can get a Solana Foundation delegation, which sort of matches up to around 150. But because there are so many validators that aren't really, connected to the network and they're not like, in terms of, participating in upgrades and always actually helping the foundation grow its tech, they've decided for every new validator that gets added to Solana, they'll remove 3 validators that have little stake on them.
Wow. That's fascinating. That's good tokenomics.
Yeah.
So basically rewarding people that are doing the job.
Yeah.
And if you're not contributing, move out.
Yeah, exactly. And they're also inflationary. I mean, like rewards are steadily going down for validators.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah. I love validators and nodes. Well, at the end of the day, that's how the whole blockchain ecosystem it grows.
Yes.
Now let's talk about you. So you been open about entering the blockchain industry without fully understand the first at all. And I remember when I met you, you had so many questions. Now you have so many answers, which is amazing. Now, what was the turning point that made you feel like, hey, I belong here in this industry?
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't just one moment. It was like a few little things happening, kind of like a momentum. So I went from sort of being really quiet and listening to meetings to actually having the responsibility of leading them. I went from, asking for introductions to making them.
Making them, yes.
Yeah. And I was kind of observing how the ecosystem was growing and everything. And now I have the ability to actually participate in that growth. So like it was very daunting at the start, like any new industry entrance is. But I think this is an industry where if you are authentic, if you're real, and you build real infrastructure, then you can participate and become part of the
I
industry.
love it. So basically learning to teach and then to learn more.
Exactly.
Yes.
Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Now, talking about learning curves, let's talk about US. How do you see US political decisions influencing the global crypto market, especially with the last 3 months?
Yeah. I mean, I do think that US is leading crypto markets, not solely. There's obviously like, countries like El Salvador and so that are also very open to it, and other South American countries. But crypto, I guess when Trump entered office, I think everyone in crypto was celebrating. Then, he launched his meme coin, and that was good. That was very good to test the Solana network. We learned a lot from that. And I think now, in terms of the replacement of Gary Gensler with Paul Atkins as the SEC chair, we have had like so many more opportunities. Like there were a lot of pending listings that were just not going through or getting cancelled that now can relist and like be a part of the NASDAQ. And there's the gap between TradFi and Web3 is getting smaller, shrinking, and they're becoming much more interconnected. I think right now with the 90-day pause in terms of the tariffs with China, that has created like a really nice space of opportunity to, for investors to be able to
feel more like relaxed and feel more like it's easier and a more established industry to invest. Right?
Yeah. So I think for investors to have more trust in their money and to feel more confident in investing in general.
So, it's funny. I'm reading a book called Bitcoin Billionaires. It's the story of Charlie Shrim and the Winklevo twins, the guy from the create Facebook. Well, they're trying to create Facebook, and then they lawsuit against Mark Zuckerberg, and they go $65 million. So back in 2012 and 13, they start to work in crypto. And then one point is like they went and tried to create an ETF on 2013.
Wow.
So imagine, it's been 12 years they've been trying.
Yeah.
And now they finally got it with Gemini. They're the founders of Gemini. So it's fascinating how the whole industry is moving, especially in the US, how it's working. And talking about US, something that you mentioned about Trump, really they launched the meme and whatever, but from the other side, he's making more decisions about how to help the regulators and the companies, US, especially the US, to grow faster. But one thing that's fascinating about Trump, he have mentoring his own children, right? So he has Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. Leading this space of the crypto space. So in talking to Bitcoin Vegas, as I said, they're going to be main speakers, which is fascinating. But obviously, they're helping the whole Trump Foundation. They're helping the economy of the US. But the dad was their mentor. Yeah. Now, I'm going back to you because you say you have obviously leveraged your dad's network, which is amazing. How has that shaped your career, and what advice would you give to others who have access to very good connections, but want to earn their own credibility, like the Trumps are doing right now? Eric and Donald Jr. Trump, you are doing that right now.
Yeah.
How you earn your own credibility?
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you take like the Trump example, and he was also, Trump himself was left a $200 million real estate empire.
Yeah, not bad.
But where, like, it's not about that. It's about how was he able to grow it?
Yes.
He's worth, estimates are $7 billion, but it's probably more than that. Yeah. And he's also the president of the United States. Yes. How do you have that money and power with doing nothing,
Yes.
you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So
Yes.
I think obviously I'm very privileged. My dad is such an incredible mentor,
Yes.
but at the same time, like, yeah, he gets me into those rooms, but I have to prove myself to stay
Yes.
in them and for people to trust me and to get actual roles within the companies. So I think when you have that advantage, make sure that you realize you're not going to have to work less. Maybe you have a bit of a better starting point, but like you're going to be defined by what you did in terms of growth and how
Yes.
you helped compound what you were given. So effort, action, conviction, you need it all.
You need it all. You know, I was watching yesterday. It's nothing related to business, but I was watching Cristiano Ronaldo Jr.
Oh,
that
yes.
he scored 2 goals for the Portugal junior team, and then they won the cup.
Yeah.
So imagine being Cristiano Ronaldo's son and being a football player.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, in business or in sports, if you have a role model, I believe is as you say, it's easy at the beginning, but then to prove it, you have to actually outperform your mentor.
Yeah. And
Yes.
And it's also sometimes harder because how do you instill that hunger? Cristiano was actually talking about this. Like if you kind of spoil your kids or give them everything that they kind of want, then where is that hunger coming from? Why do they want to be the best if they've already got everything?
Yeah.
So it's super important to not overdo it. Like when, you are a parent, because that could also lead to just complete, laziness.
Yes. You're right. And now talking about something important that your father taught you, what one of those key lessons that he has given you, either in business or in life, and that stuck with you as you are navigating in this space?
Yeah. I think there's a few good takeaways that he's given me. One is definitely compete and don't complain. If you spend your time focusing on your rivals and making excuses and looking at their progression, you're stifling your own and you're not going to get anywhere. So be the best, put in all your effort, put in action, and then you'll get results. I think it's, also very important to, when you do have an idea, you do have a great idea, there's always going to be risks and rewards, but when you think that the reward is justified, go all in and put everything into it. You have to be truly obsessed with what you want in life. You're not just going to get it, and people will see through it. If you're like just a face but don't actually know anything, people are going to see that. You have to get down and dirty, do all the hard work. There's no free lunches. There's no easy wins. And I think lastly, he always tells me nothing is possible without a team.
Okay.
Winning is a team sport. You have to have good people around you who are loyal, relentless, hardworking. Surround yourself with winners and you will become one. So have a good team, bring them up with you, never get too greedy, and you can all win together. And I think that is really the most rewarding part of business, winning with your friends.
They say it's no matter of time, it's a matter of team. Yes, it's very true.
Yeah.
And now talking about time, you have grown so fast since I met you, Yeva. And look, I have a reference, and it's slightly different, but I met Rachel Conlan, the current CMO of Binance. I remember I met her when she was working for another company. And I told her, you're going to because she's going to be the CMO. I said, you're going to become like top leader in this space. It's also going to public speaking and helping the communities and helping the ecosystem. And obviously she's doing amazing. She's in all the countries visiting and all the conference.
Yeah.
So as a friend, obviously she worked relentless and she has so much good experience. But that's how I see you. I will say, next year, you probably will be in top of the whole, Token 24/9 consensus. People actually will fight for having you on a stage. That's how I see you. Like within 2 years in the space, you're going to be one of the key leaders and the key industry leaders. But now let's talk about something that people always ask me. You grow your personal brand, and also on LinkedIn, you're doing amazing. I love your posts, and you are very young. but this is a very male-dominated space, you know? What has that journey been for you so far? And where do you want to take your personal brand for the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, it is a very male-dominated space, and I guess I am young, and I can either view that as like a fear and a disadvantage, or I can use that as an advantage. And,
Yes.
you know, that also makes me unique.
Yes.
So obviously at the start, it is daunting, but now sort of really solidifying my spot by being authentic, by putting in hard work, people listen to me, and I want to promote other girls, other women to do the same thing and, you know, take that leap of faith and enter a new industry, not because it's a casino, but because they want to make a genuine career out of it. It's only going to be the people that have long-term visions for blockchain technology as a whole that are going to make it through the bear markets. So if you have a genuine passion for innovation, for technology, and for building a future, then come join me. And I want to educate people that think that, you know, crypto is a scam or there's fraudsters there, how we can actually transform those misconceptions and educate people on the genuine technology that blockchain technology is. So for my personal brand, I want to be a thought leader, an educator, and I want to help people come into the industry. I want to help good people come into the industry and join me in building the future.
Building the future. Yeva, are we going to see like a blog about the life of a young crypto director of a company very soon? Coming, because everybody, we have all the content creators, the KOLs, the influencer, the life of a multi-millionaire trader, the life, but nobody's seen the life of a executive of a company.
Yeah.
Maybe you will be the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to document my authentic journey and the challenges that I face every day and how I sort of deal with that adversity. So I think that's a very good idea, Andreas.
And it will be good also for the non-digit part, if not more, the more established institutional part of crypto, how to see how people work in the real world.
Exactly. How we build something real. Yeah. How
to build something real. Yeva, thank you so much for coming to the show. It has been an amazing experience to have you here, and congratulations for your success in the last 6 months and in the announcement of yesterday of your new position. I hope to see you very soon. Maybe you will have you on podcast as well very soon, and I come to visit you.
I would love that. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Andreas.
Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.